So hello darling and welcome back to my channel. I'm Nyambura, and if you are new here, please subscribe to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about something very important to me, or something rather that has changed my life, and not just because of a situation in my life, but just because I just realized that I've been doing everything wrong, and this specific thing that happened to me, or the realization, totally changed all the aspects of my life. And I have to say that for the year 2024 and 2023, so much stuff had been happening to me, and I did more videos of how I kept on realizing things. And I would say that partly it was contributed to by, it could be age and experiences or situations that I had been through. Yeah, so let's dive into it. When you go on YouTube and search Nitaamini by Israel Mbonyi, you will most likely love the instruments, the lyrics of the song, and in as much as you might not understand what, like, the specific language, which is Swahili, when you press the CC on the bottom right of the video, you're going to see a place where you can actually see subtitles in English. So I decided to write down the subtitles, or like just basically the translation of the song, and let me just read it out to you, and afterwards you will get to know what I came to realize after listening to this song. It completely changed my life. So the song is called Nitaamini, which means I will believe, and it starts off by saying, "Now I declare that there is no other gods I'll trust or believe. I'll not conform to the things of the world, neither immerse myself in today's luxury to betray my salvation. I'm sure that you're able to heal or revive me. Even if you don't heal me, I'll not worship other gods or idols." And this is the chorus now. "I understand that I'll go through valleys and fire, in the shadow of death, while with you I'll not be afraid. My Lord, you hold my hand, calm my heart, therefore I will not be worried, because you carry me on your back. You're able to send an eternal word to change everything. Even if you don't do that, I'll still believe." Isn't that powerful? And it says, we continue, "This isn't the first time pulling me out of a hard place or a situation. I have more than one testimony that you are faithful. I have a special history that you are the spring of life. If you answer my prayer, I'll believe. However, if you don't answer, I'll still believe. If you heal me, I'll believe. Even if you don't heal me, I'll still believe. If you change a situation in my life, I'll believe. Even if you don't change the situation in my life, I will still believe. For you are faithful." Now, when I came across this song, it's when you understand it in your local dialect, or when you understand it in the Swahili language, because translation like someone can easily get lost in the translation. But when you do understand this song, I came across it, and I know the song is like a year old, but I came across it a few weeks ago. And I know how that sounds like, because I love Israel Mbonyi's music. I do. And there's one song called Nina Siri. I found it trending on TikTok, and so I searched for it and I loved it. And I could not understand why I did not come across Nitaamini early enough, because Nitaamini has changed the whole perspective of how I view Christianity, my faith, and my spirituality. And I came to realize that the relationship that I've always thought that I had with God was based off of what I can get when I pray. However, that has led to so many frustrations in life, to an extent that at one point in my life I had decided to give up on God, and I sort of denounced Him. And from experience, that is the worst thing that you can ever do, because we are made in the image of God, and the moment that you give up on God simply means that you are giving up on yourself. And I did that, and I might have thought it was the best decision to make at the moment, at that time, but let me tell you, it cost me so much of my time and of my spirituality. However, I would like to mention that I do not have any regrets in life for having gone through such a situation that I decided to give up on God and my spirituality, because it was a learning curve for me. And if I come across someone that has given up on God, I do not judge. I don't judge anyone who have given up on their salvation or their spirituality, because I know, one, it could be for a reason, and two, it could be for lack of understanding, and three, I always have a feeling that it could be seasonal. Like, if it's because, you see, it's different from when you were born into not believing than coming to a position where you're no longer believing because of a situation. It's very different. Those are two different things. And so when I hear someone say that they've given up on their salvation because of a situation, I always tend to talk to that person and try to understand why they made that decision for themselves. And for me, as I said, that I had no regrets at all, although I feel like I wasted some years of my life, because, and I would like to mention that when in those years that I had given up on God, I always felt the need to speak to Him. And however, I was, whenever someone tried to like talk to me about God, and this I've mentioned to a friend of mine, whenever someone tried to like mention God, or maybe to preach to me about God, I always just cut them off and left them to just maybe tell the word to themselves, or maybe like make it work for them, because it hadn't worked for me. And so when I came across Israel Mbonyi's song, well, I would like to also mention that later on, like as years went by, I I myself took myself back to church. No one forced me to go to church, or no one forced me to like go back to church. I took myself back to church because I felt like I had been missing out on so much stuff, and I needed to be in that presence where I could pray to God. However, I would like to mention that before going back to church, I had started praying in my own house. I would like to mention that this entire time, when after I had denounced God, I wasn't praying. Like, well, I could like sort of whisper a prayer here and there, but it was just jokingly. It wasn't meant for anything serious. But I started from my own house, because, and I keep saying that salvation is very personal. No one can make you understand salvation the way that you can understand it when you pray to God and He answers you and talks to you about salvation. I would like to say that it's very, very personal, and it's a personal decision that you make. And so for me to start praying in my own house and later join church meant everything to me. And I went back to church with one condition, that I'm going to church because I need that presence of God, and I'm also going to church because I need to like sort of interact with other people, not for anything, just to like sort of strengthen my faith in God. And that worked out for me. Well, not perfectly, because it came to a point where I felt like I was too spiritual, because I used to fast and I used to pray, and God would show me stuff and before it happens, and like would tell me something about someone and I would just keep quiet. So that changed everything. And however, I never really judged anyone, and I came to a realization that also the church is a business, but my spiritual life is very personal. And so the condition that I went to church with was that I'm going to church for myself, for my personal reasons, and whether or not it works out, it's okay. So when I came across Israel Mbonyi's song, I realized that my relationship with God had been very conditional. Yet His love for me is very unconditional. So when he there's that part that he says, whether you heal me, if you heal me, I'll believe. If you don't heal me, I'll still believe. So, in the same way that God loves me unconditionally, I should do the same to Him. However, I haven't been doing that, and I also realized that the thing, like, I had always wanted God to like provide for me, as I also like go out there and do my stuff. But then I realized that the same grace that He extends for me, I don't extend it back to Him, because me coming to a moment where me hitting rock bottom some years back, when I hit rock bottom and He did not revive me from that situation, felt like He wanted me dead, or He wanted, like, I felt like I wanted out of the relationship. And so when I came across this song and Israel, this is like a testimony from this man from Israel saying that whether you heal me or whether you change a situation in my life, I'll believe. Like, there are no conditions set in place for God. And I thought to myself, oh my God, Gladys Nyambura, what have you been doing? Like, you've been doing salvation all wrong, and that's where I have been catching feelings. I've been seeing God not answering my prayers, not knowing that I always pray selfishly. I pray with conditions. And so I would like to also mention that I just made like a new friend. Well, she's been in my life, but we've grown closer. And she told me something, and I thought of it, and I could not perform what she just said, because how did you even like, after having your salvation with God, how can you even say something like that? And knowing who God is, how He works, and I actually repented. I repented because I had been doing my relationship with God all along. And again, like, I also like translated the song to something else, that we are made in the image of God, right? Every human being is made in the image of God, whether Christian, Hindu, Muslim, we are made in the image of God. And so there are times when I ask God for something and he does not deliver it. And so this friend of mine told me that she doesn't pray for something to God more than once. She told me that she prays to God if she needs something in her life, if she needs peace of mind, she prays for peace of mind, and that's it. Because God provides, right? And so if I pray to God and He provides, and then I go, like the next morning, I pray to God about the similar situation, it's like I don't trust that He had me the very first time. However, He knows my desires and He had me the very first time. You know, do you know how powerful that is? And she made me realize that I was very impatient with God. And she made me realize that every single time I prayed to God, I expected results instantly. In as much as I'm aware of the fact that there are 3 answers to prayer, I always expected results there and there. It's as if I I have like this thought in my head. For example, I want a house or I want a car, and I create that imagination in my head that I have a car, like I want a car and I'll have it. And then when I go to and I say that this car by Monday I'll have it. And when I have that in my mind, that's when I go to God to pray. And when I pray to God about the car that I'll have, by Monday, if I don't have the car, I'm very frustrated. And so she made me realize that when you're praying for something to God, you should just pray, like whatever prayer that you make, whether it's a thanksgiving prayer or like a request, just make the prayer and just go on about your business. However, do what you have to do, like play your part. And so during this period also, I realized that since we are made in the image of God, if when God does not do something for me, or maybe like a situation where, especially when you lose like a loved one, we tend to feel like it's God that took this person and this person is in a better place, or at least from where I come from, we believe that. We believe that if that person rested, is in a better place. And so some people do curse God through death, but some don't. Personally, when I lose a loved one, I believe that they're in a better place in heaven. That's just my belief. And I say to myself, if I can extend that grace to God, that when I lose a loved one, they are with Him in heaven, or He took them for a reason, yet we are made in the image of God, why can I not extend the same grace to a human being? And I realized that I've been very harsh to friends and family, to an extent that I don't I don't extend grace to some of them. And this has cost me a lot over time, especially since I was little. And I would get into a little argument with someone and just, hate them for like years. And only that it hurts me and not them. They would go on about their lives, and I always kept asking myself, what is it that they were doing so that they could enjoy their life like that, yet I'm still mad. And I came to realize that it doesn't work like that. And this song has taught me how to forgive, first of all, because if I ask for something from God, or if I pray for something to God and He doesn't make it happen, I don't go on about my business being all mad anymore. No, I don't do that. So why would I be mad if a fellow human being did something, maybe mm, maybe something stupid to me and they didn't mean to do it, or even if they meant to do it, why would I not forgive them? So it has, like, this song has made me more connected to God, to an extent that the previous video I did, when I did not have rent to pay, and I was going through some very tough situation, especially like with work and things like that. So when I thought about the whole situation, and I thought, why worry when you can pray? I just got into a relaxed mood, and I don't know why, and just believed that everything was going to work. And I know how hard it can be, especially when you're putting in the work but it's not working out. I know how hard it can be. And so I've always been that person that instead of getting into an altercation with someone, I always let it go. But then I realized that I really don't extend grace to fellow human beings. If someone does something bad, I easily get mad, and that only costs me. But then I realized that why not extend the same grace to human beings? And I feel like my relationships with other people would be better if I did that. And so I was talking to a friend of mine this morning. Her name is Mimo, and I was just telling her of how this song has strengthened my spiritual life and has strengthened my faith to an extent that I no longer expect anything from God, but not that I don't expect, but I no longer like put ultimatums for him, because I know at the end of the day I might as well be frustrated. And I told her that this song has made me realize that no situation is permanent. And I was just listening to someone, and I cannot remember her name, but she was saying that in life, when you hit rock bottom, there are two options, because there's no rock bottom, because there's no other level below rock bottom. And she was saying that there are two options: you either work your way out of rock bottom, or the second option is you give up and you die. And that's not me. Like, I don't give up. I'm that person who pushes and pushes and pushes until I see some results. And I had gotten to a point where I know things are not working out, but I knew things would work out. I don't know if I'm making sense. Yes, that's what I knew. And so I said to myself, so I told Mimo that if there's anything that this song has taught me, is to have an unconditional love and relationship with God, because I have never seen God. Like, of course, I have like a pictorial image in my head of how he looks like, because, and I would like, I feel like way before, when I was like 10 years old, when I was 10, yes, I believe I was 10, I had a dream, and I feel like dreams are a way of God communicating to me. I don't know what God's way of communicating with you is, but mine is through dreams, because I could literally have a dream about something happening just outside, or maybe to someone, and it just comes to be. However, when I was 10 years old, I had this dream, and it was an angel. Let me not say an angel, but I've always said an angel, but now that I'm talking about it, let me not mention an angel, because in the dream, it was in a coffee plantation, and there was a big tree, and then there was someone dressed in white. I could not see their face, gender, but they were in pure white. And like, whatever that was, whatever form that was, or whatever, in my head I always feel like that was God. And I just got like a feeling of everything is going to be okay, and everything has always been okay. Like, I feel like that is God's way of communicating to me. So when I say that I've never seen God, probably is because I expect something humongous, something ridiculous, a, um like a ridiculous form. But for me, that was it. And I've had like similar dreams afterwards. I don't see face, but it's just a message being communicated to me. However, that does not mean that I don't have like other dreams such as those of doom. I do have dreams of doom, and so many of them, and that's why I realize that every person that comes into my life is sent by God. Like, if you have ever been into my life, it's because God had a message for you, and maybe you had a message for me from God. And so I just kept on saying that this relationship that I've been doing with God, I've not been fair at all. I haven't been fair. Like, I haven't been playing my part, because He loves me unconditionally. But for me, it's as if my love for Him is very conditional, such that if you do this for me, I'll praise you. If you don't do it for me, I'll get frustrated. But Israel says that if you change my situation, I'll believe. Even if you don't change my situation, I'll still believe. And I'm like, you guy, like, what is it? Like, what's the difference between me and you? Like, we're both Christians. So I'm doing something wrong. And oh my God, let me just say that this song is a game changer. If you haven't watched it, if you haven't listened to it, just go and listen. Just watch it on YouTube, listen to it on Spotify. And this is not like a promotion, or like a paid promotion or anything, or paid ad. It's not. I'm just recommending good and life-changing content. I'll put like a picture, or maybe like the link, and also like the link to the song on my bio, so you can go and check it out, because I believe the same effect it had on me, it's going to have on you. And I always feel like, not that I always feel like, but for me, music is universal. Like, anyone can listen to a song in any language and understand it. Like, whether you if you don't understand the song in Swahili, just click on the CC button below, like on the bottom left of the song, of the video of the song, and you will see the translation. Let me know what you think about the song, and if it has changed your life in any way. I will be so glad to hear more about it. Thank you so much for watching me. You have a lovely day, night, evening, depending on the time that you're watching me from. And if you haven't subscribed, do so, and let's have fun. Bye.